Good evening. In Hong Kong and around the world, I would like to welcome you to the Extraordinary Exhibition, a virtual evening of art and self-love. I'm Andrew Work. I'm going to be one of your guides through this evening, and I have with me here Katarina Reimer, the Executive Director of the Karen Leung Foundation. Katarina, thank you.
Well, thank you, and good evening. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making the effort to help us promote the Extraordinary Exhibition, help us promote the art for one last time.
Absolutely. I mean, the work that the Karen Leung Foundation has been doing since 2013 is absolutely vital in creating awareness and taking real action to help women and their families deal with the scourge of gynecological cancers. COVID may have stopped a lot of activity around the world, but it has not stopped the march forward of cancer, and so we still have to work against it at every turn, and the Karen Leung Foundation has been doing that. Katarina, thank you for all the work that you do, but I know you're part of a big team. And
a small team.
A small team? A small
team.
With big
impact.
With big impact. And I know a lot of people, this comes out of the legacy of Karen Leung, who was a trader in the hedge fund industry, had a promising career and about to begin a family, and she was stricken down by the scourge of cancer. And so the fight continues with the support of the Karen Leung Foundation. One of the people who was there at the beginning was one of the co-founders, Seth Fischer. And I think we have a few words from Seth Fischer now.
Welcome to Karen Leung Foundation's Evening of Art and Self-Love. Many of you joined us this past October for the Extraordinary Exhibition, and it truly was extraordinary. We got to touch over 4 million people's lives while discussing what is typically a very difficult subject. This evening also, you're in for a treat. We're going to hear from artists, we're going to hear from our partners, and of course we're going to hear from the Katrina. And so, I am joining you virtually from Montana, and I look forward to joining all of you. Over to you, Katrina.
Hey, thank you very much, Seth Fischer, for that message. And I know a lot of you are online tonight because you want to support the Karen Leung Foundation, but there's a lot that's been going on since the last events and this week. And Katarina, tell us what's been going on with the Karen Leung Foundation.
Well, obviously, this evening is the closing and final evening of the Extraordinary Exhibition, which has really, in my head, started 2 years ago. Yeah. I always say it's my third child. It took a lot of work. I started thinking about it, how we could utilize art as a medium to tell a story without touching on some of these uncomfortable terms or jargon, which are very often associated with gynecological cancer. And let's face it, actually other charities have taken art already to heal certain wounds in the society since many, many decades, right? So it was always just a when, not a why, we were not doing it. Right. However, I got a lot of ruffled foreheads when I introduced the idea that we wanted to talk about gynecological cancer with art, right? So people thought, well, are you going to have an exhibition full of female body parts? I said, good question. Yeah. So that led us to the point, well, where do we start? So I thought we elevated a little bit. I mean, it's all about the female form and empowering yourself to be okay with it, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, especially in the COVID world, right? I mean, so COVID has actually done us a nice favor, even so moving everything virtual. I mean, I always have jitters doing this. I have much more appreciation for my husband's job these days. Hi, honey. Hi, Noor.
For those that don't know, big Bloomberg TV star.
Come on. That was not necessary, Andrew. Anyway, back to the topic about the Extraordinary exhibit. So yeah, we finally put it all together. We got some great partners which could also resonate with the fact of supporting female empowerment, thinking about self-love, taking care of yourself. And we will see some of these contributions throughout the evening, as well as some of the artists which will talk about what their motives were to help us send that message or get that message across. So we started at the Eton Hong Kong in October. We then moved across to Tai Kwun, and now some of the art has been exhibited since November at WOMANBOSS in Shamshipur. So across these 3 venues, we were actually able to garner a in-person audience of close to 8,000 people.
Wow.
Again, looking that we are working in the times of a pandemic, I'm hugely proud of the team. I'm hugely proud of anyone who has helped us achieve that goal. Yeah, get people into the exhibition and measure any shift of awareness, any shift of attitude, and any shift of behavior they may feel after viewing some of these art pieces, which all centered around the female form.
Okay.
So that was a great win. We also deployed online and offline campaigning, PR, but more so these days, obviously, younger women, they're really on Instagram, they're on their Facebook, they're on their YouTube, their Twitter, etc. So across all of these channels, as well as the old traditional campaign channels, we touched 4 million lives in Hong Kong, as Seth said. And I think that's really something which is quite outstanding, especially for us as a small and lean charity, powerful but lean. We are actually just 3 ladies which are running all of this. And before we look a little bit more at the art, I want to really just share some of these survey results. And funnily enough, they're all 74%. But we asked all of the attendees, and we had about 10% participation rate across these 8,000 attendees. What they felt. I am more aware of women's health and will take care of myself and support my partner's health in the future. 74% experienced a shift in awareness.
And awareness is half the battle. You know, catching these things early, it's impressive.
So then we looked at their attitude. So they said, I'm more inclined to learn more about preventative solutions for women's health. Fantastic. So we like that. So attitude shift. And then last but not least, and that's obviously for us being in the world of trying to prevent cancer, where you need to take action and you need to do your checkup, etc. 74% experience strong shift in behavior. I am more confident to discuss topics related to the female body with my family and friends.
Oh, that's great.
So hugely proud of these results. Thank you everyone for answering these questions as you attended the event. And yeah, we'll touch upon this a little bit later, but we've got lots in the pipeline. We're going to keep the whole theme of self-love alive throughout 2021. We've got a second exhibition planned, a second edition for fall. So with that, maybe we leave it here and...
yeah, because I mean, you've reached a lot of people and you needed a lot of help to do that, especially through social media, digital media, and those types of things, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And so we'd like to maybe recognize and hear from one of your partners in that, the people at Branding Records.
Branding Records, our design agency, our social media agency. So over to the Branding Records team, please.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Tiffany from the Brandy Records team, and I'm so proud to be part of this amazing campaign, the Extraordinary exhibition. I thought it was super cool for the Karen Leung Foundation to put art and awareness together and kind of ditching the traditional ways of spreading female body health awareness. The Extraordinary exhibition is all about looking beyond the surface and spreading the message that self-care and self-love is an ordinary act. So thank you very much for the KLF team for bringing the Brandy Records team on board.
Hi, I'm Alessandro from Brandy Records, and I would like to thank the KLF team that's been supporting us with very constructive feedback throughout the whole process of developing the Extraordinary exhibition. Together, we achieved great results, and also from a digital marketing perspective, I was amazed by the interaction we got on social media and the response we got on the events campaign we ran. So we look forward to join forces again together and to work on the next creative process. So thank you very much and see you next time.
Hi, this is Chiara from Brandy Records. I'm really proud of being part of this project, and I'm really happy that we had the chance to support the Karen Leung Foundation with our creativity to spread such an important message. I believe that the past year has been very challenging for everyone on many different levels, and I believe that now more than ever, self-care is about looking after your mental health as well, and it's really important to make sure that our inner well-being in here is strong enough as well. Of course, self-love has a lot to do with taking care of our bodies, pampering ourselves from time to time when we feel like it, but it's also about understanding without judgment and taking care of what's going on in here as well.
Wow, and thank you again to Brandy Records for the work that they did in helping to spread this important message out and also to help bring people here this evening. So once again, I'm Andrew Work, and you are at the extraordinary exhibition, a virtual evening of art and self-love. And we have one of the artists here with us now, Ophelia Giaccarini, lot number 5, and you're going to go have a look at that. And maybe place a bid on one of her works. We're going to hear from Ophelia in just a second. Bonjour, bonsoir, bonjour. But first, I'd just like to remind everybody how to bid in our silent auction, because that is how you are going to support the work of the Karen Lung Foundation, is by making a bid on the artwork. There's a number of ways that you can do it, but first thing you need to do is you need to register. We recommend that you watch tonight on a TV. Maybe you've got a desktop or another type of computer hooked up to a big screen, a small screen. That's great. And we recommend you do the bidding on your phone. So if you're going to have 2 devices going, that's great. So what you would like to do, you can either use the QR code or the link on your screen and then go to the registration page. You can also go to the menu, do the pull-down menu, and choose the register. And then from there, it's dead simple. Put in your name, put in your screen name that will show up when you make a bid, and you can make it anonymous if you prefer. A phone number, your email, and a 4-digit PIN. This is very important in case you want to bid and bid again and, maybe not have somebody bid on your behalf. Once you've done all that, you're ready to get in there and start having a look at the different artwork that we have, including lot number 5 from Ophelia. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Katerina, and Ophelia. Ladies, please take it away.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Ophelia, welcome again.
Thank you.
It's great to have you again. In fact, Ophelia joined us at the opening of the Extraordinary exhibition on October 23rd over at the Eaton, Hong Kong. This was an event we ran together with the Women's Festival, and we had another artist, Leanne Louis, who you can also view on the platform, her pieces, join us from London, I think, back then. So back then when we talked, it became very clear to me that you're very, very passionate about the female form. So please tell our viewers a little bit why that is.
So I don't really know why sometimes we get obsessed by certain things. I wish I knew. But maybe the reason is I grew up as a trained ballet dancer, and with this training I suddenly started to be very obsessed about the female body and the way it can be transformed through the practice as a ballet. For example, flexibility and the change of the body. So I think this background really made me obsessed with the female form. Also, it's just beautiful. And I also studied fine arts and life drawings. So for me, nudity has always been around me in terms of my studies.
Great, and yeah, you mentioned nudity, and I read an article with you a while back, and it really said that you are looking to desexualize the way people look at the female form, nudity itself, as well as you're trying to diminish taboos. So as a multidisciplinary artist, which medium do you prefer most to segue into this conversation and seek help from? What has worked best with you? Can you give us an example or an anecdote in your life as an artist?
I have used a lot of embroidery in my work because it's a technique that is very cliché feminine. Mm-hmm. It's also very detailed, and when sometimes I talk about female and nudity, it can be very intimate. So for me, using this small detailed technique makes sense with the topic that I want to share. But photography is the most raw way of sharing the body, as the photo I've given to the Karen Lung Foundation. And it's definitely sharing the nude body, but the way it's being shown, it has flower on the top of the chest. Therefore, it kind of looks like a close-up of a sculpture, but in fact, it's a real body.
Oh, interesting. So it's, by the way, lot 5, so get bidding now. Now, obviously, when we're talking about desexualization is the external viewer, but part of our exhibition was also looking within, the whole self-love, self-care aspect. How does that play a role in some of the work you do as an artist, and also having that background of being a ballet dancer, etc.? You do a lot of yoga, etc. How do you take care of yourself? What are your rituals?
How do I take care of myself? I do yoga every day and practice dance when I have time. I think the most impressive and surprising way I discovered my body, because as a ballet dancer, I thought I knew my body very well, but I started this online digital performance on backstage.com, which is a soft porn platform where I put myself available for followers that can follow my account, talk to me on private messages, and ask me to send private content that I agree or not to do. Therefore, this experience that I had started so far 4 months ago made me discover my body in such a different way. And it was very surprising because I really thought I knew my body, but I experienced certain views from those people that has been talking to me, and I've been very surprised by this experience.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So a real learning experience, a real journey, journey of self-love, self-care, or what really the essence of the Extraordinary exhibition is. So Backstage is this project. I know it's going to run for a year or something, right? This was the trajectory. Now, obviously, many of the viewers obviously may think, oh, right, this is quite a crass approach here. Yeah, it's a very bold, let's use the word bold, yeah. When working as an artist, now you live here in Asia, and I think most of your artistic time you've actually been in Asia. What differences between the Asian or the European audience have you noticed as you work as an artist, or is there none of that?
I think the way I grew up and the way I was taught how to take care of my body and the nudity really had an impact when I arrived in Asia, because I realized it was very different. So for us French people, I think we're very much more open and okay to see nudities, when in Asia it's not really much the case. And that started to fascinate me, and I think this is one of the reasons why I also got even more obsessed by nudity and by the body, and I wanted to share out there that this is normal, this is natural, there's nothing to be afraid about in nudity. And this is why this photo is a nude chest. It's part of this Backstage project.
And it's okay to look at it.
And it's okay to look at it. And I think that's the message I want to share. It's to all the women to be more comfortable with their own body, because that's your best friend. That's the thing that is following you for your entire life.
Fantastic. Well, we couldn't have had a better advertisement for our campaign, having had Ophelia as part of the exhibition. Thank you so much, Ophelia. Stay with us for a little bit. We will flick over to one of our partners, Natasha Moore. Natasha has her own cosmetic brands called Natasha Moore Cosmetics. She is a young woman who resonated very much with our campaign. When I told her about it, she said, "This is right up my alley. I'm all about empowering women, making women gorgeous and beautiful and having them feel it." So let's blend over into a video from Natasha. Thank you, Natasha.
The Extraordinary exhibition was extraordinary. It really was. It was so beautifully done. The artists were all incredible. You were just in awe of everything that was around you. I don't really have a favorite, but the two that really stuck out to me were Ali Gorbani's photo and Inez Lyman's. Now, with Inez's, I just loved the fact that it was a beautiful woman that was covered, semi-covered, semi-nude, but it was covered in a way that was so elegant, and it was showing a lot of what self-love is. And to me, that was probably one of the pieces that stuck out the most, because it really resonated with what I stand for. It was a confident yet shy woman who was covering herself but revealing some part of her that isn't necessarily something that, you know, it's a little bit risque. And I just loved it. It was so empowering in the most subtle way possible. I really, really, really loved that piece.
who I think is quite well known. He would say one of the more established artists in the collection tonight, Katerina. Is that fair?
Yes, and Ali does also a lot of work here in the society. I think he does photography for the Tatler. He has a lot of commercial clients which are well known in the city, and he is in general a very well known guy. And I think it's also it's interesting because this project has been also a kind of a community project. I have encountered that so many people which we approached, artists as well as partners, suddenly knew each other. So Natasha suddenly knew Ali, and then Ines turned out to having done work with Natasha for her cosmetic brand. So it's a wonderful project where it all kind of started clicking and people started working together. Exactly.
And I mean, Ines, when you refer to Ines, that's lot number 16 is Ines Limins. And I mean, also, it's all about the human form and dance and nudity. And I mean, really, really expressive and so really exciting. And we're encouraging people to have a look at that.
Exactly, and bid.
And bid, of course, bid. And remember that all bids tonight are in US dollars, and we will close the bidding at 8:30. So, 8:30 Hong Kong time. So wherever you're watching, keep the time zones in mind and keep the currency in mind. You want to keep that in mind when you're looking maybe at lot number 13, which is Leanne Loy. And Leanne Loy is extraordinary. In her early 20s, is a rising star. She's been picked by Vogue Italy. Now, she's from this part of the world, but Vogue Italy has got her on their radar. And her models, her choice of model is, she's quite young, but her model's even younger.
It's her younger sister, in fact.
Her younger sister. Katerina, there's a bit of a story there. Do you want to tell us?
Well, Leanne joined us at this opening at Eton. We had her live from London joining when Ophelia also joined us for this little introductory talk. And I think her sister is barely 18 or 19.
Right.
And she told us that at first when she started putting some of that photography online, she got really mixed reactions from the Hong Kong audience,
Right.
Really displaying the sort of taboo and the sort of stigma we are trying to work against with this exhibition, right? So it was wonderful to hear that also artists are kind of having that on top of their mind when working, and also for us finding those artists and having them contribute to the exhibition. So all of the artists are donating their pieces to us. The donations come to the Karen Leung Foundation, and we are then staffed with doing good with that and helping gynecological cancer survivors in Hong Kong.
I mean, that's really important. And tonight there's a range of up-and-coming artists, and then there's more established artists, including lot number 19. Basil Pow, who, I mean, a legend in Hong Kong. I've known him. I've known his work for many years. Every time I see him, it's, a little genuflection to the legend. He's done work, with Michael Palin, formerly of Monty Python, but now become much more known for his documentary work. And Basil, of course, is just such a hugely respected artist in Hong Kong, and it's really exciting that he was bidding. And I think we just saw a bid come in from David Mansfield, has just put another bid in. And I think more bids to come, because that is such a established name in the Hong Kong art scene.
And not just this. So Basil actually did these 5 pieces especially for us, especially for the exhibition.
Wow.
This was really a last-minute entry. He couldn't make it to our soft launch, which was at the beginning of October, and he said, look, I would love to do something for you. Any chance we can get some of these ballerinas from the Hong Kong Ballet to be the models. So the Hong Kong Ballet helped us very kindly in letting us utilize these beautiful dancers in the picture. So this is a very, very special, extraordinary series, only done for the extraordinary exhibition. So definitely, and the first edition is basically what we have on sale tonight.
Wow. Okay, fantastic. I think we've got another one of our artists that we want to introduce.
Yeah, but before that, I think we should, it's Vivian Ho.
Yep.
And given that Vivian Ho's piece has been at the WOMANBOSS space in Sham Shui Po, or will be there until tomorrow morning, we are playing now a short feed from Bonnie Chanwu.
One of her big fans,
Yeah, and she's been supporting the project, and let's see if the clip works. We had some issues before, but let's try.
Let's see if we can have Bonnie Chan.
I especially enjoy Vivian Ho's illustration work right here because she creates the backstage of the woman when she's at home, enjoying her own me time and without any makeup, fancy clothes, in her own state of mind. In her very own physical and private space. So as the title says, it's okay to be true to ourselves.
Hi.
Hi, Vivian.
Hi.
Welcome back. Thank you, Bonnie, for the contribution. Before we touch a little bit about what Bonnie said, because she was talking about your piece, and we're talking about a Lot 6, which is Vivian's piece, so please go check it out. You also saw it in the background, actually, of Bonnie's clip just now. I want to start with, so you were actually a trained economist and then moved into the arts. So why did you decide to move into the arts? I mean, economist, arts, I mean, it couldn't be further away. I'm an economist by trade.
You are?
Yeah, I am, in fact, yeah, but also, you see, here we go. You know, I work in the non-profit world.
Yes, I need to ask you the same question. So I think I'm more like a multidisciplinary person. I'm pretty much ADHD person also. So like I really enjoy having both sides of my brain operating. And then I, like at the same time of as my passion in art, and also enjoy my time taken away of like doing math and graph and looking at news and everything. For me, like skill is important, but the content is also important.
Right.
So my training as an economist is always going to be part of me, and like it's the part of my analytical and rational side of me.
Oh, wow, interesting. Well, I think that also explains, if you may have, if you want to check out Vivian's website, it's vivian-ho.com. I went on there in preparation of today's talk, and I saw that, as you said, you're multidisciplinary. You've been on, some of your illustrations have been on the tram, you've painted a bar on one of the Genting cruises, you've worked with the MTR, you designed some of the cards, but also you've had exhibitions, etc. Now, this piece, which Bonnie mentioned, is called It's Okay. And as Bonnie said, so she felt very drawn to it because it's just a normal day for a woman, kind of letting her hair down, being comfortable in their own skin, your state of mind. When did you, as an artist, reach that equilibrium that you were comfortable in your own skin, really utilizing all, your left and right side, as you say?
I think it's a daily struggle for women especially, that we always have to struggle with like what we're responsible for as women, to like get married, have kids, and all this like womanly duty, versus like what we actually get educated to be, like just do our own things. I guess it's a lot of the part of like getting the equilibrium is really to get rid of how you mind so much of how people think of you.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I also asked that to Ophelia. How does self-care and self-love play a role in finding that confidence from within, finding that equilibrium? And what do you do to, empower yourself?
I guess it's also my everyday struggle. I guess because my personality, I was trained or educated in a way that I have to mind or concern other people's thinking, or how they mark me, or how they grade me, the kind of things. But then my decision of becoming a full-time artist kind of take me out of that system. And I kind of create my own grading system. And kind of like I get my own satisfaction and recognition from my own definition.
And what's that grading system? That's we didn't talk about that before. That's an interesting piece now. I have to dig in a little.
Okay, so it's a lot about like the interesting level of the project, or like how, I don't know. It's really about like my own process of growth, whether I think I'm growing or not.
Oh, right, interesting. So, as we said, you're very accomplished. I mean, you have a huge gamut of work you've done. Very, very impressive. For you as an accomplished artist, commercially as well as from an arts perspective, a medium perspective, what would be advice you give to younger women out there in the art space? How do they get there? What do they need? Grit? Confidence?
I guess is to forget that you're a girl. Just be everyone else. Just like be like everyone else. And also, this is an era that is kind of different from the era that I graduated from. that this era is like a lot of like social media, exciting. COVID, like risk and possibilities, they come hand in hand. So it's like a really exciting period, and just go do it. Just jump right into it.
I agree with you. Look, I'm always bullish. So I want you to stay with me for just a little bit. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your contribution. I want to invite Andrew back up here because we want to talk about a couple of other female artists, and I think Andrew is walking us through.
Absolutely. Happy to get back on. Encouraging everybody to get in on the silent auction and please bid. I want to talk about a couple of lots. Lot number 7 is Sarah Xie, based in Shanghai. And, a lot of the work of the Karen Lung Foundation is about dispelling taboos. And she deals with one of those issues that has a really strong taboo that people don't talk about in society, and that is depression. And she is using her art to tackle this particular taboo head on. So it's really important work that's being done, like artists like yourself as well. Lot number 4 is from Tanya Bennett, and we're going to encourage people to have a look. Hey, Tanya, what can you tell us about this piece of art from Tanya?
Tanya, well, she's also known as Pirate. I know her personally. She's an avid runner. So whenever she doesn't feel good, she puts her shoes on and she runs the hills in Lantau or wherever. She does ultra marathons and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think this triptych was really also created again just for us, for the Extraordinary exhibition. So again, we encourage you to look at it. It's beautiful. It's in beautiful pastel covers, and
yes,
it's her experiences she encounters when she goes up there and kind of wants to clear her mind, wants to clear her head.
Yeah, and I mean, she's the go-to artist for the Sovereign Art Foundation. And with both of these pieces, they're both triptychs. So it's almost you're getting 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah.
Although we don't talk about art like that.
Also,
It's art.
Sarah's ones are available individually, yeah.
Oh, as well?
Yes, they are available individually, whereas Tanya's goes as a package. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So people should definitely have a look at those. And we're going to bring you a few words now from an artist that I think a huge name in Hong Kong. People know this person as an artist of the coiffeur, but is also an established artist in other mediums as well. And that, of course, is the legendary Kim Robinson of Hong Kong. Let's hear from Kim Robinson.
Fully support women's health awareness. As being in the business of beautifying women, it is very dear to me. Actually, self-love is all about confidence, and that's empowerment, and that's really important for me. Seeing my work displayed at the Extraordinary exhibition made me feel very proud, and I'm very grateful for being included. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. Thank you, Kim. Kim's piece went already to an undisclosed buyer. So thank you, Kim, for supporting us. I know Kim will support us also in the 2.0 version, the 2nd edition of the Extraordinary exhibition, which we are planning for fall. And I hope also now the artist here, Jenny Lam, who's joining me, will hopefully put another piece. So we're hoping that her piece today will sell. Her piece is lot number 8. As the last artist who sits here with me, I mean, I know you wear many different hats, and similar to Ophelia, you also, I believe, do a lot of yoga, etc. You work with other people and their bodies. And you're also a proponent of that nude is not provocative. That's the first line on your website. Then the second one is empowerment in art. I mean, for us, again, Jenny was like the fits like a glove when we reached out to artists. But tell me a little bit, Jenny, how are these 2 key themes highlighting what you think, and what does it mean to you?
Nude is not provocative was when I started, I was looking at all the social media. Why are we using our body to, I'll use super basic. Take a picture of your boobs and then provoke someone and manipulate and all those things. I'm like, but that's not what I felt art was about, especially back in the day. Nudity was a very private moment. It was just natural. It was an intimate share. It's a physical body right there. It's not to manipulate anybody. So I was like, that's how it should be. Even though I paint nude, and it's all, and when I saw it, for me, like the way I paint is not to pull someone or anything like that. It's just like, I am here. This is how I am, and this is what I am. And that is why nude is not provocative. And why, going back, it falls together, art as empowerment, because all my arts are very forward. It's all about a woman standing her ground. It's about, you know, freedom, nudity. And, you know, growing up in Europe, for me, it was very different, or especially like when I went to Scandinavia, it was for me like, you know what, this is a physical body. I'm not saying this is just a physical body, but it is a physical body. You know, my size might be, you know, smaller or bigger or just different, but it's not like in Asia, oh my God, look, boobies. I'm sorry, I'm very like vulgar here, but you know.
That's fine. Ophelia said in one of her interviews, nipples are just nipples.
Yes,
so
pretty
as
similar.
we are a female-oriented charity, so I think we can say some of these terms. And some of our viewers anyway, they're having hopefully a bottle of wine from Wine Brothers being sent ahead of time. Thank you, Wine Brothers, by the way, for supporting us. Before we chat a little bit about Invisible Lovers, which is your piece, I want to touch upon the subject of self-love and whether this has something only to do with the physical body or it goes actually deeper. What's your thought about that?
Physical, I mean, there's so many ways. You know, for instance, like me getting into the art world, it was for me, like I started actually, interesting enough, when I was speaking to my school friends, they were like, but Jenny, you were painting female nudes already. And I was like, no. So for me, like I was very shy. I didn't want to share that part. I'm very loud and outspoken, but there's a flip side of me. The real me is like hidden. So I'm like, no one should see me. So I don't want to be vulnerable. I want to protect myself as much as possible. So when I started painting, I was also accepting, you know, this is what I'm going to share. I'm going to show who I am. And that's one part of self-love, because I'm in court. I'm using my feelings to express and navigate in the world. And right then I expressed it in my painting and in my daily practice. If it's not just physical, it's, you know, simple things as in journaling, meditating, pausing, or as simple as taking a bath. And sometimes I'm like, I want some romance. I put some rose petal in my bath and I have a candle. Super stereotype, but it works for me.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we in fact also, part of our online campaign was a hashtag self-love challenge. I know you participated. I think some of these basic routine tips you gave our audience. Let's talk a little bit about your piece, The Invisible Lover. It struck me that you took that piece and donated it to us, because normally your pieces are really about the female form, so I would have thought you would have picked one of those. But The Invisible Lover is a little bit different. Tell us about it and why you submitted that piece.
Yes. So to be honest, before Karen Leung Foundation, I knew nothing about cervical cancer or gynecology cancer, and I went on a research and on a journey, and I discovered quite some interesting things, and I felt so barbaric, like I didn't know about it, you know, about the injections and da-da-da-da-da. And I did spoke to my doctor about it, and I'm like, wow, it's very interesting. And then I thought, you know what? It's about inward. So for me, Invisible Lover, I've been going on a journey of being single and practicing this self-love. And when I said about Invisible Lover, it's two energies combined, masculine and feminine. There's no physical form. So I always thought, like, you know, a female should be na-na-na-na. A female should be XXX, a male should be da-da-da. So I thought, you know what? I have masculinity and I have femininity. I have both inside of me, and I can give myself that love. I may look like a female, but I have both. So it's kind of a perfect match with, you know, the foundation, because yes, it's female. We're not feminists or blah, blah, blah. It's just an energy. It's just, you know, acknowledging something about us.
Exactly, and I mean, when we started this project, I also always said, I don't want this to be about empowerment and one of those only women things. In fact, many of our supporters are males, so yeah, we invite male or female to bid on Jenny's lot. It's lot 8. Before you go, I have one last question for you. I know you recently also had a piece at the Art Basel Spotlight, or that was last November, I mean closely after our exhibition. So what's up next for you as an artist? Obviously, presumably the COVID world, there are not so many live things going on. Do you think that online or the virtual world can actually make ends meet with the powerfulness of art? You know, I mean, does that work? How does that play out for you, earning money with your art?
Well, I mean, it's very unpredictable, and who knows? I think it's the best time for artists to develop their, skills and strategies. So perhaps I will rent a big house and fill it with naked women and keep painting.
Great. And then you can submit a piece for the 2.0
Exactly.
to be happening in September 2021. Jenny, thank you. Stay very shortly with us. Thank you for...
Make a bit.
Exactly, make a bit. Lot 8. So, where are we going now? I think we're going to Andrew. He's going to join us and highlight a couple of other pieces.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I was really excited to hear you guys talk about the work and the art. And, I'll be happy to be involved in your next project if you're looking for any help, especially the way you described it towards the end. But on a more serious note, I'm glad that you made that point about male partners. My wife has been affected by gynecological cancer. I have 2 daughters, so it's really important and close to the hearts, I think, of a lot of men that are out there tonight watching and hopefully bidding on items like lot number 8, yes, and maybe lot number 15, Gereville Bunyakit, has a really interesting piece. And the art is informed by the access into the therapies that are brought about by dance and yoga and the motions of the body, which I think you are also very much in touch with as well. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So please have a look at lot number 15, because that's a very, very special one. And, as you said, we have the male and the... Yes, please, Katarina.
So there, I also wanted to outline, as we're coming slowly to the close, there is no bias of whatever pieces we highlighted today. We wanted to make sure that everyone got a little bit of a light across this program. Of course, some of the more renowned artists, they had already bids. So if you're watching and your piece had a bid, we did not necessarily highlight you here today. There is no pun intended. We love you all, and I was so pleased to have 18 artists working for us. Yeah. And I think since we're talking about males, we have one last message from one of our dear auction partners. Unfortunately, Phillips couldn't host us tonight. We were going to have this as a live event at the Phillips Auctioneer Central Gallery, but naturally our restrictions have once again made this a virtual event. We're sitting here, I'm sweating, the light shining on me.
Under the studio lights, yes.
So let's see what Jonathan from Phillips Auctioneers has to say.
The chairman of Phillips Auctioneers, please, let's hear from Jonathan, please.
Helping charities that bring awareness to the fight against cancer is particularly important to me, having lost my brother to the disease. Phillips has long been a supporter of many charities, and this project is particularly meaningful because of the female focus. Reducing the stigma on topics centered around women is an ethos shared by many artists whose works we select to present in our sales, including Chaharu Shota, Nicole Eisenman, Barbara Kruger, Jenny Holzer, Rosemary Trockle, and the list goes on. Our team at Phillips is predominantly female, and this is manifest across the entire spectrum from the top down. Our global chairwoman and global managing director, for example, are both women. When it comes to the classical art historical canon, there has long been a lack of female representation. We, as a leading auction house, strive to help reverse this trend by recognizing and offering women artists in our sales. By promoting trailblazing female artists, we hope that our approach will raise awareness and encourage others to become agents of change.
Thank you so much, Jonathan Crockett from Phillips Auctioneers, who've been a big support for this event, ongoing, and we're really happy to have that support. Yeah, Katarina?
Absolutely. Well, we hope we'll get that support again for the 2.0 version. I mean, as I mentioned before, this project across the board, starting with the artists, starting with the partners, starting with the supporters, moving on to my team, internal, external, some of the vendors we worked with, it's really been kind of a team effort, which was wonderful. So thank you, everyone. If I haven't mentioned you today individually, again, you are definitely in my heart. You're included. I want to make a big shout out for the planning of our 2.0 version of the exhibit. Why are we doing it? Yep. Well, we can't get enough. No, it's really, we had to turn artists away in the end.
Right.
So we have already 10 artists lined up. Some of the artists which contributed this time want to come back, want to give us another piece. We want to also broaden a little bit across mediums, given that it was for us the first time. we wanted to play it a little safe, and we didn't have sculptures, or we didn't have installation art, or, you know, we didn't have some of the more, or as Ophelia said, you know, a different gamut like embroidery or hanging arts, etc. Right?
Right.
So we want to dabble and dip into this. We're already talking with some of the big development companies for a new space across Hong Kong Island. So hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the time to September. We will be surprising you and hosting small workshops. Some of them are planned at Bonnie's space at WOMANBOSS. Some are planned on Hong Kong Island, where we invite some of our patrons to really come and join us and learn about self-love. So one of the talks we've earmarked for March is all going to be about feeling beautiful inside and out. Hear more and be surprised. So
and reach out if you'd like to volunteer. But also, get your bids in, because we've only got a few minutes left in the auction. So if you are going to make a bid, please, now is the time.
Exactly.
I had to get that in.
Yeah, you had to get that in.
Because we do want people to bid.
That's why we got you to support us. So on that note, thank you for supporting us. I mean, we've worked a couple of times together. It's always a joy to have you. And I think we're going to say goodbye here, 8:30. We're going to cut the auction off. Thank you for everyone who bid. And thank you for joining us tonight. Good night, and enjoy that wine you hopefully still have. All right. Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you.